coach.
Fran, Brady's had a rough go of it here with injuries and things like that. Not really a question, but he had to feel good about how he played tonight.
He's been playing like that, really, since this year began, which, as I always say, it sort of begins in June. He has been, if you look at his numbers, his assist turnovers are, I mean, just phenomenal, like 4 or 5 to 1. His shooting percentages, his efficiency, I mean, he doesn't make mistakes. You know, he's defending his position well, sticking his nose over the glass. You know, it's year 3. First year he's hurt. Last year he had some good games, some not so good games. Backed his minutes off as the season went on. He just kept battling. Yeah, I'm really proud of him.
12 guys got double-figure minutes. I'm sure that, for as far as the growth and development, will help your team going forward.
Yeah, I think so. You know, when we still have Dale Jones, he just wasn't ready to go.
About Kordell, I mean, his stat line's pretty impressive tonight. Are you surprised?
Well, if he makes his free throws, the other night he's got 15 and 16 minutes. Today he has 18 and 18 minutes. Pretty efficient. But the thing that I always liked about him, and the things that you're seeing, he's just a really skilled big man. He can dribble it, he can pass it, he can score it, he understands angles. He has a great ability to make a decision in traffic. You know, when to get rid of it, when to dump it, shoot it, don't shoot it. He's terrific against pressure. You know, we had him in the back. You know, they're pressing 2-2-1, makes and misses. We put him in the back and we put him in the middle. So they're the two most difficult positions to play against pressure, where you have to trust that person to make decisions. Sometimes they're facing it and sometimes they have their back to it. Doesn't matter. You put him anywhere and he's effective. So that, gives us a guy who's 6'8" and 250 that can be placed anywhere on the floor and makes plays like a veteran. It's a great weapon to have.
Did you know that about him coming in, or has he surprised you a little bit?
No, that's exactly what we saw. And, I haven't watched him since he's in 8th grade. He's always been like that. There's no panic in his game at all. Nothing rattles him. Makes a mistake, goes right back, and doesn't linger on him. And that's a special talent to have, especially when you're a young player. And that's what we're trying to get Ryan Greener through. I was proud of him. He struggled early, had a couple goofy turnovers, and then he settled down. So sometimes it takes guys a little longer to settle down.
You took Tyler out right away at the start of the game and just sat him for like a minute. What was the message? You're settling down?
Well, he was going a little fast. We want him to slow it down a little, but he was so aggressive defensively, he just deviated from the game plan a little bit, and we wanted him to see it, so we diagrammed it for him, and I wanted to let him know that we just needed a teaching point, go back in. And, he was really good. I mean, the beginning of the second half, he was a dominant player down on the baseline. They decided to come out in that zone. They played zone and man. They usually played man. Today they played a lot of zone. So we needed him to go to work on the baseline, which he did.
Back to Kordell really quick. Tyler deservedly got a lot of the attention preseason, but did we sort of maybe miss the boat on Kordell a little bit, given...
I think everybody kind of forgot about him because, I think it's understandable. He committed a very long time ago, and then he missed his entire junior year in high school with leg surgery. And, he did have a stellar senior year, lost in a state championship game. He was really good. I saw him play, obviously both times against West High. He was really good. But, watching him in AAU, watching him grow up, he has a feel for how to play the game. And there's just no substitute for that. You want athletic ability, you want high flyers, you want great three-point shooters. You have a guy that can dribble, pass, and shoot, and he's big and strong and smart and tough. That's a terrific combination. So I kind of understand how it all went down, but he's always been a really good player. When you average 15 and 11 as a freshman in high school at a high level, it's pretty impressive.
You said a few years back you thought Nicholas Bear would be kind of a secret, no one knows anything about him. You look back at his development, is he, like tonight, he did a lot of great things, might not show up in the box score, but he's just solid and never has been.
Well, yeah, he's the kind of guy that, a good example, I think, of what you're talking about, Rick. Early in the game, they want to get it in quickly down the floor and shoot in 3 seconds. That's what they were doing against Iowa State, and they were making some of those. So he just comes back and steals one right at the beginning of the game. And it was a big steal. I think we scored, but it was also a message that, we kind of know what your intentions are. And he's able to jump into passing lane, get a steal, jump into passing lane, maybe make the guy come back to get it, give our guys more time to get set, and then he sprints back and finds his man and talks. It's a very interesting offense we just had to defend. And that's the beauty of this game, playing this time of year, especially with the short prep. You don't see too many teams. They took 44 threes the other night. They press on, makes and misses, and it's all drive and kick. Shot fake, drive and kick. Shot fake, drive and kick. Drive, get to the front of the rim, turn and throw it to a guy for a three. So it takes a certain amount of savvy to defend that kind of action consistently, and that's where a guy like Bear, because he won't stop, he won't forget, he won't slow down, and everybody kind of rises to his energy level. That's how everybody can lead early and keep it.
Building off that, the talking point that you made about Nicholas, that was, I think, what stood out to me the most is how much he was talking in those first few minutes, first few possessions when points weren't being scored. When you look at how he started here as a walk-on, emerged last season, and where he is now as a vocal leader, what have you seen in his evolution off the court?
Well, I think you recognize we got a young team, so we need leadership. And, it just can't all be Pete. Yeah, it's Pete's team. I've said that, and I think Pete has done a really good job there. But he's getting some help with Nicholas Bear. I mean, if you look back over the years, the teams that we've had with really good leadership, they've all had help. Gatens and Jared Cole. I mean, you go right on down. When Marvel was here with that senior class, Wasabi was really good. He had to respect the locker room. So guys are leading in different ways. But like I always say, you have to lead with communication. The lead by example stuff is overrated. Yeah, he plays hard. He's supposed to play hard. He's on a full athletic scholarship. I expect him to play hard. That's doing your job. There's nothing special about that. Well, what do you do after that? Well, you communicate, you help the young guys along, you execute to perfection. And if there's a guy on your team that's young, that is a little unsure where to go or what to do, or he makes a mistake, if I have a guy like Nicholas who can correct that on the floor before I have to take him out or I have to yell from the bench or make him feel like he's really screwing up, a senior guy's going to take him and talk to him. It's much better to do it that way.
You had 43 three-point attempts in this game. I think your first 9 attempts were from out there. Is that what you want, or is that just?
We would have preferred a little more of a mixture of penetration, but we have good three-point shooters, and we were open. So and I thought we went back and got more of them in the second half. We didn't do as good a job in the first half of going to get our misses. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they had more rebounds than us in the first half. We ended up out-rebounding 52-40. So we went back, got 19 offensive rebounds. A lot of those were in the second half. Wagner, Ewell, Macy Daly. So, our plan was to shoot a few less threes and a few more, drive the closeout, finish at the rim. But, again, you make 18 threes, the guys were... I can't remember what was... that was a bad three. I think we used really good judgment and made good, good shot attempts there.
When you look at Brady and his resiliency, I mean, he came in here, he had foot issues. Last year he was kind of in and out of the lineup, but he seemed to keep his confidence and he just keeps growing as a player. What does that say about him, his character, and what he's been able to do?
Well, he just keeps working. I think, that the first guy that came in with an injury and redshirted his first year, I don't know that we, last year is just part of the journey. I don't know that it was a ton of adversity. He played, he didn't play, he's behind Clemens, Gasell, Peter Jock. He was a professional in every sense of the word, and that's how he approaches every day. He's really smart, and he's always been a tough kid. And what you're seeing is a guy that develops. Everybody wants it right away. It doesn't happen right away for everybody. And in Brady's case, it's taken him a little longer, but it's really only year 2 on the floor. And he did have a 20-point game last year in college. So, you know, while I'm proud of him, you know, I think he's doing what I expected him to do and what he expected of himself, which I think is more important.
33 assists, a lot of that came out of ball movement against their zone. How, I guess, grateful are you to get an extended look at your zone offense this early in the season?
You know what's funny about that, you know, is it was a unique zone offense, and we just kind of moved the ball. It wasn't like we did anything that specific against it. Like, there's other things we can run against zone, but for us it was all about ball movement, throwbacks, and you're right, you know, the number of assists for the number of field goals, that's a good percentage. You know, but I was probably more impressed, you know, you look at, you know, Bohannon and Christian Williams got 11 assists, 1 turn against a team that presses every possession. You know, so, and then you look at Nicholas Bear, 6 assists, no turns. Those are numbers, 33-15. Because that's a team that expects to turn you over and turn them into threes. Trade 3 for 2, 3 for 0. And get you in that kind of game. And, you know, and since they play that way all the time, and we don't, it's like, well, we get you in that kind of game, we'll be better at it than you. So you have to make an adjustment in a very short period of time to be able to play against that style. So I'm really proud of our guys that way tonight.
Take one more question. What did you think of Maishi?
A little nervous when we put him in, but I thought after that, you know, showed his athletic ability. He kills the corner 3. He's not afraid to shoot it. Had some defensive instincts. Showed, you know, utilized his length. He could be really good.